Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Duels. This week we're taking a look at a blue-white Fliers deck, so speaks for itself really, so we'll get into the games. If you want to check out the deck tech and see what we're running, then be sure to head on over there. Alright, without further ado guys, I'll see you in the games. Okay, so we're in. We got a 3-lander, and turn 1... It's not actually a turn 1 Topplegeist for this one, it's a tap lander and Evolving Wilds. Into a turn 2 Topplegeist, into hopefully a turn 3 Bygone Bishop, or even Invocation / Spellqueller. I think we'll take this. It's not great, but we'll go with it. Cracker Evolving Wilds, thin out of deck a little bit. Don't want to flood out too much, we can cast all of the stuff in our hand with what we've got here. I think I'll probably Meandering River next turn, just to make sure that we've got our Bygone Bishop on turn 3. So we miss out on our turn 1 and 2 plays, unless of course we draw something cool here, we'll see. But I think the Bygone Bishop gets us the Investigate clues, the clue tokens, which is actually going to be really helpful. Well, actually, now that we've got a Prairie Stream, we can curve right into our Bygone Bishop with the Topplegeist anyway, so that should be fine. Okay, so let's go Island, Topplegeist, Prairie Streams now, an untapped land. Cracks his Evolving Wilds. Okay. And he's in blue. Blue-red, probably. Maybe Thopters. Don't know. I'm kind of going with his avatar at this point. Another Evolving Wilds. Okay, well, he's got nothing at the moment. So we're going to go Prairie Stream, and I guess we'll go with our Bygone Bishop. You might have something to cast next turn, which Spellqueller would be useful with, but I'm still going to go out with our Bishop, because when we cast a creature with Convert Mana cost 3 or less, we get a clue token, so we'd actually get a clue token off the Spellqueller as well. And all we have to do is suffer one card of his. Hopefully it's not something too bad, but we'll see. So, takes one, down to 19. Ooh, Sphinx's Tutelage. Well. Those clue tokens aren't looking so great anymore. Dusk. So the question is whether or not we want to race this and actually go with an Invocation which puts an extra 4 power down on the board, or if we want to hold up our Spellqueller to make sure that he doesn't play another Tutelage / absolutely just wipe his board. Wipe his hand and get a redraw with something like Collective Defiance, that's the one. In fact, I might leave up my counters for that specifically. Land into Collective Defiance for a redraw of his hand is a lot of triggers, and it also kills our Bishop or Topplegeist as well in the process. So, mills us a little bit. Land and Pilgrim's Eye. Okay. This is actually some really weird version. I'm just going to fire out a Spellqueller. Add some power to the board. And we got Jace. Okay, well, we're going to Invocation on the Topplegeist then. The Topplegeist is the one that I want to die the most if he has removal, so make that a target for him. Add some 4/4s to the board. And say goodbye to the token. So we've got lethal on board next turn. And having this Glyph Keeper in hand as well, if we do manage to get our land drop and land it as well, it's going to be really difficult for him to remove this. Power of the Pages is possibly a concession in itself. He does get to untap some lands, so he's going to need an answer to this board state right now. Really just an answer to the Topplegeist though. And in double blue and double green, he could have bounce spells, I suppose, that would help. So we'll see. Mill some reasonably nice things there, but Nothing too serious. Lot of lands. Ooh, Skyship Plunderer. Does quite well with Jace, adding loyalty counters to him. Right, well, let's go to combat. Let's see if we win. There's nothing really we can do to play around it right now. No. And swing. Triggers on the stack, so that means a 4/4 is guaranteed to come in. Does he have removal? A fog. Ah. Yeah, it makes sense that it is Turbo Fog. Okay. Well, we gotta play through his Turbo Fogs. Through his Fogs, should I say. I'm gonna crack a clue. Looking for a land drop, didn't find one. Looking for a land drop essentially so Jace can come down and then the Plunderer can actually start putting counters on it and get us close to the emblem, which would be quite cool. Don't know if that's actually going to end up mattering in this kind of situation though, because it is kind of a race, but he's fogging us every turn, so... There's about 8 we got to work through. Oh dear. Cast out would be nice. At least slow this down a little bit. He's definitely got another fog then. Declaration in Stone doesn't do any good for us. Alright, well, let's swing for lethal again. And wait for a fog. Yep, there's commencement of festivities. We have to attack, because we have to run them out, so... Get rid of the 4/4. And I wonder if we just keep playing into this board. I mean, Radiant Flames would be terrible if we were to do that, but we do get our 5th land for Glyphkeeper and Jace if we do. So I think throwing out at least one more creature for the sake of an extra land guaranteed, because we have milled a fair few. It's going to work out for us. It does, of course, thin us while we do this. Just get our planes. Don't think it really matters. Make our land drop for the turn and pass. Mills us twice. But as you can see, if it wasn't for the fogs, we'd have won on turn 5, I think it was, which is quite consistent with this deck. A lot of the times, I think he's definitely got a fog, especially with this amount of draw. A lot of the times, we kind of just goldfish our opponent by flying over the top of their creatures. They need flyers in order to do anything about it, or a lot of removal, which is fine, because a lot of our flyers are just, you know, average valued creatures that are made better late down the line, but if he's got another fog here, we've probably lost. Which is, unfortunately, the way that it works. There's not really much we can do about it. Cathartic Reunion. That actually means that we lose, doesn't it? Yep, alright, well. GG, I suppose. There's 6 triggers. Guaranteed 12 cards. I'm gonna send a message. I'm gonna crack a clue. How about that? Booyah. We got an always watching, which would have not really helped us so much, but would have made it so that we were hitting for more at the very least. But yeah, that's gonna do it, unfortunately. Passes the turn, we go to draw, and we are dead. Alright, well, let's go on to a new game. Hopefully no fogs will ensue and we can destroy our opponent. Alright, I'll see you there. Okay, we're in, and we got 2 tap lands, very miscreant. A lot of decent curved cards, but we need the mana to get to them. So we'd have what is effectively here a turn 2 into a turn 3 into a turn 4 into a turn 5 into a turn 6. So I'm going to keep it on the hope that we just consecutively draw lands and essentially flood out. I'm hoping we flood out, which is something I can guarantee, because that's all that ever happens to me these days. Right, Mountain for our opponent does mean that a lot of our creatures aren't going to live very long. We do draw a land, so I'm very happy to see that. Okay, Fairy Miscreant, go. And we'll go with an island. So the Glacial Fortress comes into play untapped, and we can pretend to hold something up. While also, if we get a plains, then our prairie streams come into play on tap later on as well. Smuggler's Copter for our opponent. Okay. Well, now we get to go with our Glacial Fortress and hold up Spell Queller for the next thing that's going to crew that, essentially. We do miss our land drop. Well, our land draw, more specifically. We need to draw one next turn, otherwise our plan falls apart slightly. So we're just going to Spell Queller this in response to whatever he plans on crewing the Smuggler's Copter with, because that is a decent blocker. The Declaration in Stone is not really equipped to deal with. Hoping he taps out completely for something. Ooh, a Handware Garrison. Perfect. Counter that. Opponent could, of course, have something like Fiery Temper to deal with Spell Queller, but slow their opponent down. And we missed our land drop again. Okay, so we'll be mana screwed today. That's good. Right, get in for 3. And then we'll slam down this Plunderer. And we'll see what we can do. Does he have removal for the Queller? That would be essentially the perfect target for him right now. We're getting back a Garrison, which allows him to go with his Copter. Then we Declaration in Stone it if we don't draw a land. May very well Declaration in Stone it even if we do draw a land, to be honest. There's Collective Defiance. Alright, so Spell Queller down. And 3 damage to us. Sure. So he's allowed to cast that. And he can crew up his Copter if he wants. We're going to Declaration in Stone that because this is far too much value to allow it to stand. And it also might be the only creature that he can Copter with. Which would be good for us as well. So I'm still hoping for a land drop or a 2-drop. Oh, a 1-drop. Specifically a Fairy Miscreant if it is a 1-drop that we end up drawing. So then we get to draw a new card, hopefully into a land then. Let's see what we get. Well, there's a land. Okay, there's a tap land as well, so that works out quite well. Deck in Stone, the Garrison, Evolving Wilds, and we will crack it for... We've got even stuff here, I guess. I think double white is most common in this deck, so we'll grab some more white. And swing for 3. Next turn we get to choose a permanent to give counters to. Sure, we'll have counters. Only really effective with Jace, which is effectively why he's in here. I wouldn't probably put him in otherwise, but this gets you to the ultimate quite quickly. Oh, Glorybringer. That's disgusting. Okay. Exert Glorybringer to kill something. Yep. Plunderer down. That's a lot of value to deal with. And we hit a land drops, which is pretty sweet. Okay, well, we could go with the Wyvern in order to get extra points in right now and take him down to 11. And then when it untaps next turn, we've got the Avacyn ready to block and kill. This deals 4 damage to a creature though, so if we went with the Glyph Keeper instead, it would get this little shield, which would be difficult for him to deal with, and therefore might discourage him from attacking him with it. So I think I'll undo the 1 damage we're going to do this turn to make for a more difficult target for our opponent in the future. And possibly when we swing in with the Glyph Keeper, Flashing Archangel, Avacyn, and maybe turn this Glorybringer into a chump blocker. Except for he's got another one. Okay, so that's very sad. But still can't swing in. And we hit Pilgrim's Eye, so we're going to pretend like we've got absolutely nothing. And pass the turn. You know, flash in Avacyn. In response to probably a double exert, is my guess. Galvanic Bombardment. Okay, so he's wanting to get the shield off the Glyph Keeper. Hopefully he doesn't have another removal spell. Chandra. Ugh. Oh, he's swinging in. Oh, sweet. I was expecting for our opponent to minus Chandra to kill the Glyph Keeper there. Which would have forced my hand to go for the Avacyn early and therefore not mean that he loses both of his Glory Bringers and therefore his Chandra. That's pretty good. I'll take that. I think that's what the kids call a blowout. So Chandra's going down. He's taking 6 to the face. He's actually taking 8 to the face. He's got a follow-up, has he? Goblin Arsonist. Alright. Yeah, he's actually taking 8 extra because Thunderclap Wyvern's going to come in and do some fun things. And then we can also play our Topplegeist as well. So this is just value city right now. Okay, so he does get to crew up his Smuggler's Copter, so he can save whatever he wants, I guess. Which is probably going to be Chandra. Is there a way we can force him to go with his Smuggler's Copter crew early with the Topplegeist? That doesn't really change anything, though. But I suppose we might as well do it. And then in response, he crews it. And then we're going to swing in. I think... Is it better to hit him in the face or kill that Chandra? I think Chandra needs to die, so... We need to swing like this, and no matter where he blocks, he loses his Chandra and his Smuggler's Copter. He does get loot, but the loot's not going to matter because... Well, it is going to slightly matter, but it's not going to matter in terms of madnessing out cards like Fiery Temper. Chandra down, Copter down. He's got an Arsonist and 1 card. I think that's going to do it. He needs board wipes, and Mono Red doesn't really have all so many of them. Ooh, Hazoret. Now he can attack with Hazoret, but he's dead in the air, so... That's game. Okay, we'll take that. Let him get his hits in. He can send messages all he wants. We're going to swing in for far more. And we could play out our Pilgrim's Eye, but it doesn't really matter, so let's get swinging. And that is going to be game. What was that? Minus 7. Yeah, not too bad. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed the content, and if you did, then liking and subscribing is a great way to support the channel. And if you want to get notifications when new videos go live as well, right next to the subscription button there is a little bell icon, and if you click that, you'll get a notification when my videos go live. I do hope you've enjoyed, and if you haven't checked out the deck tech, be sure to do so. Alright guys, see you later.